Hey guys, my name is Anthony, and in today's video, as you can see my face again. I'm just going to be talking about the future of this channel and where I plan to basically take it once F1 2020 is released. I'm probably going to store something along the screen right about now above my face, where basically I tweeted out saying that I'm going to be live streaming this week at some point, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be making any more F1 2019 videos, just because really, we're pretty much getting to the end of the cycle now, and the game's getting quite stale, it's getting quite boring now. So if it's boring for me, then I'm pretty sure it's going to be boring to a lot of you guys as well. So I don't really want to create content that people don't really want to see. I know people would rather see content of the new game, and sadly I don't have access to the new game through the beta or whatever it is that they were doing. But once the game drops, which for me, I purchased the Deluxe Schumacher edition, so for me it's going to be dropping on the 7th of July versus the 10th, so that gives me a few days to be able to start creating the content that I want to create for you guys. I've got some notes here, and I'm basically just going to be reading off some of these notes and just talking about the future of this channel basically when it comes to F1 2020, and just some certain ideas. If you guys have any ideas of videos that you want me to make personally, then comment them down in the comment section below, and if it's something that sort of resonates with me, sort of clicks in my head, then I'll definitely go ahead and make that video. So getting straight into it, the first type of video that I really want to make is I want to redo some of these F1 tip videos that I've had. Obviously my F1 tip videos have been structured in a way that you can apply them to any F1 game that you're playing. Really, it's more about the racecraft and building that racecraft. That's really what I've been doing with some of these tip videos, but I definitely want to make some F1 tip videos specifically tailored to F1 2020, being that the handling system will be different from F1 2019 and basically anything that's ever come before it. I want to make F1 tip videos specifically for that, especially for people who are going to be coming into this game as a newbie, it's their first game, and for those who, maybe they bought F1 2019 towards the end of the game cycle and they're still not that familiar with the F1 games and they want to get better at the F1 games. So that's what I'm going to be doing in terms of that. I'll be redoing all of my tip videos. I'll be going fully in depth of how to drive without the racing line, how to drive without ABS, how to make time up when you're using manual gears, for example, and just stuff like that, how not to use traction control and stuff like that. And with the new handling system, I am assuming that it's going to be quite different compared to F1 2019. I don't think you're going to have to short shift as much and stuff like that, so that would be good. I'm not personally that good on the pad. I can drive without no assists on the pad, and I'm roughly about a second per lap slower on average on the pad than I am to the wheel. But if there is a substantial difference between driving with no assist on the pad versus the wheel, I will make a sort of separate segments within each video, sort of talking about the pad and sort of talking about the wheel and how they differentiate and how you can apply these tips based on what you're using, because I know that a lot of you guys do use the controller, whereas some of you guys may use the wheel like how I use the wheel. The next video that I've got coming in is a video that I've been planning for a very long time. I've mentioned it on multiple occasions, and I'll leave a link probably at the top right hand side of the screen there to my video that I recently did where I showed my face for the first time, where I mentioned that I will be making this video soon. I'm finally going to be making at some point my full review on the Thrustmaster TX wheelbase. Now, my review on this is going to be slightly different to your average review. Usually your review would, someone would take the wheel, they would use it for a couple of weeks, use it for maybe a month or so, and then they'd give their review and, how it feels and stuff like that. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm going to be doing is something similar to, I think his channel name is Sim Racing Source. I'm going to be reviewing this product based on the long-term value that you'll get out of it. So I got that wheel in October, so we're looking at around about, this is going to come up to July now, so we're looking at roughly about 9 months that I've had this wheelbase for now. So I've used it a lot. Like, I've probably already clocked in, close to 500 hours on the wheelbase in those 9 months. I've used this wheel a lot, especially when I first got it. So yeah, pretty much I'm just going to be going through everything to do with that. I'm going to be going through the troubles I've had with it, because I have had some troubles with it, believe it or not, and some of the benefits of it as well, especially for those who are looking for a more cheaper wheelbase that's still, notification going on my computer there, that's still, you know, packs that punch. So that's what I'm going to be making. I'm finally going to be making that. One cool video idea, it's actually a video idea that I got because I got a few questions recently specifically about it, is I'm going to be using F1 2020 to show you guys how I make my thumbnails for my videos. I've gotten a few questions from a few people basically asking how I make my thumbnails, or if I make my own thumbnails. So I'm going to be using F1 2020 as a sort of scapegoat basically to show you guys how I actually make my thumbnails for the videos, especially in videos like this one I'm making right now. I'll show you guys how to make the thumbnails for that. So if you guys make YouTube videos as well, it's a little bit easier for you to make your thumbnails, because I know a lot of people like the thumbnails that I personally create. Another thing I want to do on F1 2020 is I want to do a hot lap / track guide series, and I don't want this one to be, you know, similar to what other people have already done. Basically, the usual track guide is probably just them going over their fastest lap on time trials, and then them just talking about the lap, which I will be doing. I will be sort of doing a lap on a certain track. Maybe it's Australia, or maybe it's you know, maybe one of the new tracks like Hanoi, and I'll be going over a time trial lap that I managed to get. We'll be sort of dissecting, you know, places to start turning in, places to brake, when to apply the throttle, stuff like that. But I want to do something extra as well, just so that I can give you guys as much information as possible. And basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys how to start a race on these certain tracks. So what sort of ERS, well, not ERS, because the ERS system is actually going to be different in F1 2020, but what sort of fuel mix to use and when to use it, and, you know, how to get a good start on these tracks and stuff like that. And I'll also be talking about wet weather condition driving. It's not really been talked about as much when it comes to track guides, so I kind of want to sort of fill that void. I'm not the best driver when it comes to wet condition driving, but I do feel as if I can drive in the wet competently enough where I can sort of help you guys if you guys are struggling to do wet condition driving, especially with those guys who are trying to learn how to do it without assists. So that's what I'm going to be doing in terms of that. I'm going to be doing a My Team. I mean, that's a given. With the reveal of how My Team actually works, I'm pretty sure that everybody wants to do a My Team series. Even people who don't usually do career mode on their channel want to do a My Team series just because of how vastly different it is. So I'm going to be doing my own My Team sort of thing there. I'm not really sure what name I'm going to be going with yet, so if you guys have any ideas of what sort of name I can go with for that team, then please let me know in the comment section. If I like it enough, I may choose it. For me personally right now, I'm thinking of maybe going with a car manufacturer that's not really in the F1 series at the moment. You know, it could be BMW, it could be Aston Martin, which Aston Martin will be eventually in the F1 series. I think they're going to be taking over Racing Point. But, you know, it could be Aston Martin, it could be maybe Porsche or something like that. Another idea that I want to do is an F2 championship. I did make, I think, 1 or 2 F2 videos, and, you know, the F2 cars, I did do a live stream the other week there in the F2 cars, and it really made me realize how terrible I am in an F2 car. So maybe if I could do an F2 championship, I could sort of build my skills up, and not only would it allow me to, you know, create content for you guys, but it's also something that you guys can see how you actually approach the F1 games when you're trying to get better at something. So you guys will see me at the beginning basically sucking with an F2 car, and you'll see me progress as the championship goes along, hopefully to the point where, you know, I am pretty competent at using an F2 car. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm also going to be showcasing my wheel settings and my camera settings. I know that's something that a lot of people, they want to see from other people. You know, I've had a few people question what my camera settings is when they've seen videos of mine, whether it's on Facebook, because I sometimes post videos on Facebook, or on YouTube or on Twitter. So yeah, I'll be creating those. I'll be sort of telling you guys why I use certain wheel settings and, you know, stuff like that. So if you want to see those, then obviously you can subscribe to the channel. Another series I'm going to make is League Racing highlights. I'm going to be continuing those. I'm actually going to be doubling down on those, because right now usually I think I'll be doing like one league race per week. I'll be live streaming one league race per week. That's what I was sort of doing towards the end of F1 2019. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm actually going to be doing 2 league races a week, hopefully, and they will be both live streamed, and then depending on what happens in the race, if I want to showcase it or not, then I'll be editing it down and then showcasing it as highlights, where I talk over my thoughts during the race and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to be doing with league races. I've already joined TSRL. I'm going to be hopefully in season 11, just depending on, you know, what my pace is looking at going into F1 2020, which I'm pretty confident that I should be, you know, relatively quick on that game. So I'm definitely going to be in that. Probably going to be joining WOR, or World Online Racing. Probably be joining them again as well. I might join AOR as well, or Apex Online Racing, if you guys have never heard of those guys. So it just depends on what's sort of going around, what sort of leagues are doing what when it suits me. So either way, I'll be doing 2 league races hopefully per week, and I'll be live streaming those on this YouTube channel as well. I used to live stream them on Twitch, but I thought, you know, it makes more sense to live stream it on YouTube, because that's where most of you guys are already. So that's what I'll be doing with that. And yeah, I'm just looking at some of my notes now, and I think that's pretty much it. I am going to be doing a classic car series. I personally, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have bought the deluxe Schumacher edition version of F1 2020, so I kind of want to make some content with that. You know, there's no point in buying the deluxe Schumacher edition if you're not going to really be taking a look at those classic cars that are coming in that edition of the game. So I'm definitely going to make some content with that. Maybe I might do 100% races with those, you know, maybe I do, you know, some challenges with those, like last the first or last the question mark sort of challenges in those classic cars, and just showcase me driving those cars for the first time. And I think the last video idea that I've got here is going to be one of the first videos that I actually make when I go on to F1 2020, and it's going to be showcasing me learning the 2 new tracks. Now obviously I'll be making a lot of F1 tip videos, and this video is sort of going to be me showcasing how I actually learn new tracks. So essentially, when it comes to, you know, learning tracks without racing line or whatever, you know, I've come up with all these tips, and I've showcased all these tips already, and I will be doing more on F1 2020. However, I think it will be a lot more beneficial to you guys if you can actually see how I personally go about learning a track without the racing line, you know, pretty much live. It's going to be a live commentary, so I'll be learning Zandvoort and Hanoi. I'll be learning those on a live com, and hopefully it'll give you guys a better idea of how I approach a brand new track, and how I learn it without a racing line, because obviously I can do that with, you know, tracks that I'm sort of struggling with right now, like for example Brazil, not really one of my strongest tracks. I could showcase me learning those, but I think it would be a lot better to showcase me learning a new track from scratch, from literally not knowing where any braking points are to figuring out my own braking points, and then pushing the barriers to see how far I can go. So that's pretty much going to be the future of this channel when it comes to some of the content I'm going to be creating. I was thinking about creating Assetto Corsa Competizione content, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that. But if you guys would like to see some content on that game, it's a game that I've never really played personally, so it would be pretty interesting to make some videos on that. So if you want to see those, then please let me know down in the comment section below, and you know, if I get a couple of comments saying that you guys want to see it, I'll be happy to make it. I think the game's coming out on Friday, so yeah, I'll be playing it for the first time on Friday. But yeah, that's pretty much where the future of this channel is heading. So if I've said anything in this video that, you know, you guys are looking forward to, that you guys want to see, then definitely hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, because as soon as F1 2020 comes out, I'm going to hopefully try and upload daily for the first week or 2 of the game's release, and then we'll sort of slow down to once every other day or something like that. But yeah, definitely hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if I said something that you guys, you know, sort of want to see when the game comes out. And I'll see you guys hopefully in my next video, which should be my first video on F1 2020.